Hello and welcome back to that 90s Premier League podcast, episode 6. Jonesy, how you feeling, mate? Say hello.
Good. Happy to be here.
I said to you just before we started recording, didn't I, mate, that it feels like we're recording daily how quick these are churning out now.
We're all smashing them out, aren't we?
And today we have a guest.
Yes.
Would you like to introduce our guest, mate?
Yep. So this episode of the Big Guest Live, it's Mr. Al Shaw.
There we go. So,
Welcome, mate.
Al, welcome to the pod.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jonesy. Thank you, Woody. Lovely to be here. And
Thank you, mate.
But an episode I'm going to very much look forward to.
Good man.
Probably even more so if I wasn't in it. But
we were making a list of people that we wanted to get on the pod, and obviously where we've just started doing positions from the 90s, we thought that there's no better than having someone from the GK Union to start today's podcast is you, mate. So thank you ever so much for coming on.
who was very much alive in the 90s,
Yes.
ticking all the boxes.
Exactly. So, as you've already guessed, today's subject is the Goalkeepers Union. So, myself and Jonesy will speak to Al and deep dive into 90s Premier League folklore with all of his beautiful collection of shirts, ask him some questions about goalkeepers, just have a bit of a chat. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. Just having a bit of a chat.
Wicked. All right. So let's get cracking then, guys, because we've got some beautiful content to get into. So, Jonesy, over to you, my friend.
Yes, what we wore, 90s edition. It's always 90s edition, isn't it?
What are you wearing?
What am I wearing? Okay, so I'm wearing the Aston Villa 1993 to 95 goalkeeper disco ball. Would you call that disco ball one?
Yeah, it's a bit disco ball. Al, how would you describe it, mate?
Crystal shards.
Yeah. Do you know, again, it was a bit stained glass window as well for me.
Yes.
Has it got Muller on the sponsor?
It has.
Oh.
A few, used by a few teams, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Who else?
Leeds,
Can you remember? Lukic.
Newcastle.
Yeah.
Yes. Great shout.
Newcastle.
Blackburn?
Oh,
Yeah, they
quite a
have
few.
teams.
Christ.
Yeah.
Speed up, Woody. Crikey.
Definitely. There'll be a you see a Bosnich or a Mark Beanie or a
Mark Beanie. Crikey, that's a name I haven't heard in a while.
Tim.
Not on your list?
Tim Flowers might have been in one of them.
Tim Flowers.
Flowers,
That's how I can picture it. It's Bosnich or Flowers in that.
Yeah.
But obviously, Jonesy, you have. Has this got Nigel Spink on the back?
It hasn't got Nigel Spink. It doesn't have anything on the back.
Right, okay.
Unfortunately, not representing Mark Bosnich this week. But yeah, that's what I'm wearing. What are you wearing, Woody?
Well, I've gone full Kevin Pressman today for Al. So I've got the 97 to, I think, 99. I think we might have used it. It was definitely 97, 98 Sheffield Wednesday goalkeeper's top. It's the green with sort of a darker green on the sleeve. Sanderson sponsor as classic, and then the nice green fade in the middle. So obviously, I think Pavel Sodacek maybe have worn this kit. It might have been a bit early for him, but this was definitely a Kevin Pressman special in my eyes.
I think I've got a match program actually with Pavel Sodacek wearing that shirt.
Yeah, I mean, this one had the classic green shorts, green socks. So I think green, and I'm sure you might agree with me, Al, but I think green is the perfect colour for a goalkeeper kit. Am I right?
It's what it's meant to be. Absolutely.
Yeah. See,
I'm not
doesn't
sure.
clash.
Pavel Srnicek might have worn Jonesy's version as well.
For Newcastle.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Ah.
See, we do like to connect, don't we? We do like
Exactly. We've got this like telepathic kind of like mindset when it comes to what we wear, so it's working out.
You're representing Super Kevin Pressman, the finest penalty taker the Premier League has ever seen.
Absolute
who just
rocket.
basically took a goal kick in front of the stick.
Yeah. Can you imagine trying to save that? I mean, honestly.
You could be stood on the post like this, ready, and you're still not going to save it. You just end up with two snapped wrists.
Super Kevin Pressman is smashing walls. Right. Al, tell us what you're wearing today, my friend.
I'm wearing the Manchester United times Umbro 1996 to 98, I believe, goalkeeper shirt.
Yeah,
splendid with champions patches.
it's beautiful.
And, the
Oh,
on the back,
there we go.
who is
What a-
my all-time goalkeeping hero. So
Oh, okay.
he's the
Hold
man.
that thought, because we are going to ask you that. Obviously, that is a. I mean, if we talk about kits that identify players, Jonesy, that does scream Schmeichel. That kit, right?
It does. It does.
Such a serviceable
We have
colour
Schmeichel
as well.
sitting there.
Yeah, yeah. It is a lovely color. Is that got? It's got elements of green in it as well, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Does,
It's kind
yeah.
of goes
Look at that.
very shades going from light to dark to white.
Beautiful.
Just classic 90s.
Yeah,
A
classic
green
90s.
background for the badge. So what more could you ask
Yeah.
for?
Oh, there we go. Right, that's a great way to start, Jonesy. What have we got next? Have we got my stat of the week?
Where's the folder, mate? Where's the binder? Because we're going into stats of the week. All right, hit me. What have we got?
Right. Okay. So as there's a goalkeeper special, I like to be as kind of on point as possible. We are going to take a look at Ipswich 94-95 season. Now, Ipswich, unfortunately, for any of you tractor boys out there, have actually been put down in Premier League folklore for the wrong reasons for being a goalkeeper. So the most goals conceded away in the Premier League season. So I feel pretty sorry for the kind of three goalkeepers at Ipswich at that point. So we had Craig Forrest, we had Clive Baker, which I don't actually recall ever seeing play for Ipswich, and a very young Richard Wright. Now, obviously, we know Richard Wright went on successfully for Ipswich, Arsenal, and a little sprinkling at Man City, didn't he, I think, at one point?
Yes.
So
Clive Baker, formerly of the Barnsley parish, I believe.
there you go, Clive Baker. That's cool, right? So I've obviously seen here. This was the season they actually got relegated. But if we look at the actual goals and stuff they conceded, so not only that year did they concede 9 at Manchester United in one game, they also conceded 4 goals away against Arsenal, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday, Blackburn, Everton, and Forest.
Far out.
Now, can you imagine being an Ipswich fan travelling to see him in the Premier League? You've already been in there for a couple of seasons, and then this.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So poor old Craig Forrest. But yeah, we're with you, Ipswich Town. Don't worry. But yeah, that's my stat of the week.
Hey, I enjoyed that one.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Right, smashing through it. I think we're going to go for Hold the 90s Back page. Yeah, I know you love that one.
I do. Do you remember this, Al? Hold the back page.
Absolutely. I'm a child.
remember-
I'm a child of all this vintage. All this vintage.
Oh, this is so good. Right. What have you got
All
for me,
right.
Jonesy?
Okay, so this is the Mirror from April the 8th, 1998. All right, so going through the
1998. Okay.
1998, yes. All right. So, surprise, surprise. We're David Beckham. All right. He seemed to feature a lot at this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bex, it's Rome, sweet Roma. Roma last night targeted David Beckham for a 12 million summer swoop. The Italian club's free-spending president, Franco Sensi, has been alerted to the fact that a 22-year-old Beckham has still yet to sign a new contract. And with the England midfielder set to marry next year, the Italian billionaire can offer the kind of tax haven Posh Spice's pop star lifestyle demands.
Oh dear. Can you imagine if that transfer happened? First of all, 12 million.
So looking into it,
Yeah.
he was only on £12,000 a week back then.
Oh wow. Yeah, poor man.
Poor man. So it looked like Roma had a lot of money because they were linked with Steve McManaman and Georgie Conclazzi as well. They didn't end up with any of them.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Roma at that time, I mean, I didn't have a great knowledge of Serie A around that time, but were they fourth? I was going to say, they weren't winning the title then, were they?
No. All right. And then we'll go on to the next one, which is keeper related. Chelsea's Brit or bust bid to keep Karine. Chelsea have come up with a sensational plan to solve their goalkeeping crisis by turning Dimitri Karine from a Russian to a Briton. Chelsea have applied to the Home Office on behalf of
Oh.
Kareem 6 months ago and hope to get the go-ahead on July the 1st. Manager Vialli has made the decision weeks ago to play Kareem in all remaining Premiership matches, with Ed De Hoy left to play only cup ties. Where to go? So Kareem must play 75% of the remaining games at the moment of his full recovery from injury to ensure that his work permit is renewed this summer. The Russian international could walk out of the bridge on a free if he fails to meet the work permit renewal criteria for a non-EC footballers. Vialli, however, has not made his rotation decision on the goalkeepers based on any outside influences. He just didn't release him on the free.
Do you remember
I
that,
remember
Al?
that. I genuinely remember that. That
Wow.
palaver about I do.
I mean, last week I mentioned about Hungary's Istvan Kosma for Liverpool, obviously being denied a work permit for Hungary. Now, you said this is 98, Jonesy, that stat.
Yeah.
So Kareem was in goal for Chelsea for how long before that? Must be.
Of his
90.
contract.
Blimey heck.
No, so he stayed. So looking here, he stayed, played one game the next season, and then he was John Barnes and Kenny Dalglish's first signing for Celtic when they took over.
Did Kareem go to Celtic?
Yeah, that's what I said.
I did not know that.
No, I don't remember that. That's one thing I don't remember that.
Crikey.
Didn't do much. I think he was
Right.
injured. So, yeah. So to me, that just looks like they're just trying to find a way of not letting him go on the free and just trying to tie him up to a contract to get something out of him.
Yeah. I don't think it would have made any difference in terms of him being classed as an English goalkeeper, though, right? Because he would have still played for Russia at that point, or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely, yeah. All
Oh,
right.
there we go.
Okay. All right. We'll go on to the next one. We do love a JJB Sports advert, don't we? Look at those prices.
All right, look away now, Al, because your top might be on the list.
So we've got the
6 of everything, please.
So we've got the advert is a JJB Sports advert. Liverpool's home Reebok jersey, 96 to 98. Senior sizes going for $12.99.
Wow.
The goalkeeper home and away, $9.99. The away crew shirt, $9.99. And this is where Man United are rip-off, because the away Manchester United 97 to 99 is $19.99.
Scandalous.
Same with the home as well. So there you go. More great saves, JJB Sports.
I presume they're basing their price tag on the success within the league, though, because where were Liverpool around that time? Were they kind of European qualifications?
I think so. When they have third, the fourth, yeah.
Wow. If only we had a time machine, guys, to actually think if JJB was selling them at that point, I'd go back to a sale and just clear the shelves, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't have a front page because I couldn't get it to work, but it was Anthea Turner, but I couldn't get that one. So sorry, guys.
Sorry, Al. This week, Anthea Turner only.
Something to do with a wedding being sponsored by a chocolate bar or something.
Could be, yeah. I had a look at the TV guide. There's nothing much on TV as well. Wayne's World 2 was on at 10 o'clock on BBC One. That's pretty much it. Nothing else. So there you go. That was Hold the 90s back page.
Al, can you remember any headlines from the pages in the 90s that you can recall or not? Anything specific? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot.
Not the double decker on the moon headline.
But, yeah. Wrong paper. Elvis ate my hamster or whatever. Yeah. Going back to headlines from 1998 involving David Beckham, because who knew? Fast forward on a couple of months, and there'd probably be a few front page headlines including him.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I still remember I watched that very game.
Yeah.
On my first foreign holiday with a girl. To Zante in a bar.
You dreamboat.
If you're watching out there, because I know you might be, you know who you are.
Yeah, right in.
She actually might be as well. So yeah, watch that game. The ecstasy of Owen's goal to the agony of Beckham's red cards.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I found about that game? Now we're on the subject. The actual, like, the Sol Campbell header as well, for me.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember screaming when he put that in and watching him run off in, like, absolute ecstasy and then done.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
Anyway,
Oh,
sorry about. So no, that, yeah.
no,
99
no,
years.
it's all right, Al. No, don't worry, mate. Don't worry. Right, let's move on, Jonesy, swiftly.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some. Think we're going to have some keeper chat.
Right, this is the bread and butter, Al. So thanks for obviously donating some of your precious time to talk to us about the Goalkeepers Union. Do you want to kind of tell us briefly, in terms of goalkeepers in the 90s, kind of what did it mean to you? Were you an up-and-coming goalkeeper at that point?
I was. I went to like, senior school in 1989. So all the way through kind of the formative teenage years was literally when the Premier League kicked off.
Yeah.
So it was Premier League, USA 94, and everything that all that razzmatazz in terms of goalkeeping shirts went, because you went from very early, late 80s, early 90s, when you kind of had the Umbro Hamden was about as exciting as you got.
Yeah.
That was great, like three panels of colour.
Yeah.
And then the 90s came and you got like mid 90s arrived, Premier League, and you just had all these crazy designs, and I got on board with that straight away.
Yeah.
So I had one of these originally. I wore this in my last year of school.
So Al, tell us what are you pointing to Spotify listeners? What have you got?
Pointing to the Umbro. This will have been 1995. It's bright green with pink, yellow, and blue accents.
It's incredible.
Inspired by Mr. Campos at USA 94, who designed his own shirts and then had Umbro badge stuck on them. And I got the matching shorts to go with them, which are as they suggest. And then I teamed them up with, I went and found, much to my sports master's disgust, a pair of pink socks. Anyway, I wore them in County Cup final, my last ever match for school.
Yeah.
So someone somewhere has a grainy VHS video of a sudden death penalty shootout with me. I actually dived the wrong way and the lad put it straight down the middle. And I flicked it over the bar with my toe end. And I just have this vision of I've fallen like this and I'm looking up and it went in slow motion. This ball kind of went over, literally landed on the bar and plopped off the back end of it.
But you are literally describing what I would say is, you know, those Tonka toys with all the like players in the kits, and the goalkeeper one is like that with the arm out and the leg out. That's you, Al.
I went over like that, flicked the leg up, and I can remember just looking up and seeing this ball just feather because I'd deflected it over the bar, and time stood still for about 5 seconds. I realised it was sudden death, and then they realised it was that was the second pen of sudden death, and I was just off up the pitch. Ironically, played on a local pitch, the local football club where I now live.
Yeah,
and I see on a weekly basis. It's that field, so it's kind of cool that my last ever memory of school football was charging off up the far end of the pitch and just being mobbed.
Yeah,
brilliant.
That sounds like a Mighty Ducks movie.
Oh mate, like perfect ending to it was just unreal. And I know one of the lads' dads has got it on VHS somewhere, and it's one of those things every year I keep meaning to. And ask his dad for it, so I'm going to do that anyway.
Yeah,
find it.
Brilliant. Yeah,
it'll be probably not as I've recalled it at all. It will be. It will be.
Did it go in?
Yeah, we actually lost. So, no, but this whole thing of being like a teenager. I went to a fee-paying school. Now I'm from a very poor family, and I went on an assisted place where they just paid for you to go if you can't afford. I was there with almost sometimes imposter syndrome, but like being a young man and a keeper with all these like crazy designs going on, it gave you a little bit of chance to stand out and be individual.
Absolutely.
I love buying my gloves, and I loved everything about the individuality that being a keeper that it gave, the outfits gave you, and this explosion of colour that came with the Premier League, especially, and just the whole early to mid 90s, just captured me completely. I was obsessed with. I mean, the whole Premier League, in terms of football kits, when the laced collars came and the big shield badges, and that whole, where I still kind of have a massive love for Umbro, and retro shirts. This whole thing, but you had the juxtaposition. No, I thought I'd say that on a podcast. Of long words, folks. The contrast of these kind of kits, that the outfield kits look really traditional. Like you had the Villa with the lace collar, you had the Ipswich, the same with these big badges, and then you had the keepers kits that were just mental.
Yeah.
They didn't do kind of old school throwback goalie shirts. They just went all in, and I loved it. And I had crazy ones from Sondico, Adidas, All Sport.
Palada.
If we did a generic keeper shirt thing, I've got obviously truckloads upstairs, but it just got me. And I had trials, as they say. I played for my district team, played a bit for the county team, played for the North of England Independent Schools FA team. I had trials with Bradford City. I had a slightly longer trial with Huddersfield Town. Never made it, but I think being a kid, it's because there's only one of you, then it's either like you or the other bloke.
Yeah.
And if you mess up, everyone sees it. It's always, unless you've been in that position, it's just a unique place to be. So yes, I think we all have to be a bit mad to play in this particular position. But I just got on board with the whole. It's always been boom or bust. Sometimes you're the hero, sometimes you're the villain. But the greatest thing for me is the fact that you have that license to be an individual, where with things like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I loved it. I've been in love with goalkeeper shirts for a very, very long time,
mate. Jonesy, have you got? I mean, I'm stuck for words here because I think that's put perfectly in terms of being able to express yourself as a kid in terms of going in goal, obviously with the kits, the vibrancy of the kits, and being able to kind of grow up in an era where goalkeepers weren't just players. They were, I would probably say in some teams, the centerpiece to a team in terms of the kits. But you had the Schmeichels and the Grobbelaars. All of those sort of players weren't just in the background, were they? They were quite iconic, right?
As you said, they were the main man. It's the same, like growing up, I had keeper shirts as well. We were allowed to wear shirts for primary school. So I remember rocking up. Most of my time, I'll just go to school in goalkeeper shirts.
Yeah.
Thinking out now, the ripped and ruined and pulled and everything like that. And you go home upset, but still.
Go to school in a keeper shirt. This would be revolutionary.
Wow.
Well, you certainly didn't need a coat.
I mean,
no.
I mean, I had that in Liverpool, this one.
Yeah,
see. Cool. Yeah. So
what are you holding up, Jonesy?
I think it's, what did they call it? The Predator template, I think.
Yeah. So that's what, 95, 96 Newcastle?
Yeah. I've got that, the Liverpool one.
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
As you said, let's go. I've got this one as well. And as you say, early 90s, you go from Liverpool having, a green candy.
That looks like a shirt, though, doesn't it, really, in terms of like.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you go into, the mid 90s, like
jousting outfit.
Love it.
Explosion of shirt. And that's what caught me as well, just the designs.
Growing up, I think my older brother was a goalkeeper. So he was in Oxford United's academy for a while. And I can always remember him having the David Seaman Dramberg kit, which looks like it was the black one with like the silver grey stars in the background.
Yeah.
So I can remember how like amazing that kit was. But I can always remember sort of like playing football with him, but he was always so padded. Like he had the padding on the elbows, the shoulders, the shorts, because you obviously had quite thick padding on those as well. And I always used to think they were so cumbersome and so heavy, and I never really appreciated the design until I became like a football shirt collector. Because I'm sure you'll agree with me, Al, but I think a lot of 90s goalkeeper kits I like art.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I've got the Sheffield Wednesday 93-95. So it's the blue and yellow one,
I'd
which
love
I
to
would
meet the person who designed that and just ask them,
Yeah.
what's
What's going on, mate?
what's going on?
Yeah, I
Mate,
mean,
what's going on?
this just literally is Puma. It's got SWFC in large font, basically, but it just looks absolute carnage as a kit. But like Chris Woods is just, yeah, I mean,
who I see, yeah.
Goalkeeper.
just epitomises goalkeepers in the 90s for me there. But I think you've got the reverse of that, which is the white and black, which again,
yeah,
I'm still unable to find the elusive green, red, and purple version of this, which was another favourite of the collection. But these two are.
Was that more of a Pressman one?
So I would have said the Woods would have worn the black and white one a bit more, because that was with the black kit with the yellow pinstripes, and then this one was more the home, which was more of the Pressman.
Yeah,
because I think this is the shirt he wore when he did the Thunderbolt penalty against Wolves in the FA Cup. So
I remember him wearing the green one, the green and red one as well.
Yeah, and the purple, and again,
he always looked uncomfortable in a turtleneck.
He did, didn't he?
He did.
It was almost like he had no neck because he had quite a big
really
head.
Want to have it on.
Yeah. I was so glad you said that, because whenever I used to look at pictures or watch him on TV, it almost looked like they had to the whole team had to pull the shirt down on him, kind of like, go on then, out you go.
Suits on, but he's never. I don't think he's a fan of a turtleneck.
So yeah, I mean, great way of obviously saying it out. You've obviously alluded to the fact that it was something that you could kind of relate to and express yourself, and the more that keeper kits became more out there, the more you loved them, right? Absolutely. So talk to me just a bit about kind of growing up and watching these goalkeepers then. Did you have any particular kind of favourites of goalkeepers in the 90s period?
Number one, the Great Dane himself, hands down, who I tried to model my technique on, but could never quite master that big old star jump with your leg tucked under yourself.
I was going to say the star jump, yeah.
But my son appears to have... my son pulled one out last week where it nearly knocked me off my chair when he did it. I was like, wow, okay. So he bears more than a passing resemblance to a young Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah,
so that might be the project. But he's just my complete number one. I was a big fan of Chris Woods. I thought Chris Woods was an underrated goalkeeper and suffered from our hanging on to Peter Shilton for way too long in that era. He deserved more caps for England. Yeah. Still irks me watching Italian 19 and backpedaling when that deflected free kick hits off Paul Parker and back he goes. His little... Anyway, the Nigel Martin, fantastic goalkeeper.
I rate Nigel. No,
I've got
goalkeeper.
Well, I remember
I've got Nigel Martin here.
That top that you've got on, Jonesy, in the Leeds version, I think, if I remember rightly, may have been
that Thistle Hotels,
I think. But then, I think then you had David Seaman, who I would consider to be a very good goalkeeper, but maybe not as great as some. He's solid, but for me, I'm almost scarred by the Ronaldinho free kick, maybe, or Naeem's long range.
Naeem as well. Oh my God, yes, down your line, Dave. Yeah. God, how many times?
Tim Flowers, really good goalkeeper. Pavel Cernicek, I have a soft spot for, but because one of my friends used to play for Sheffield Wednesday and played with him. He was a junior goalkeeper, and he said, "You don't understand how good these guys are until you see them in training."
Gosh.
Pavel Cernicek taught him the art of the second save. It's not about... So we used to be taught to catch a ball.
Yeah.
And Pavel would knock it down and get it second time. That's what he was taught to do. So he was all about the second save, getting the ball under control for you to then grab it properly.
What's the benefit of that, though?
So that if you don't catch it and fluff it, it can burst through your hands. If you concentrate more on just deflecting it downwards...
And smothering it.
Something less precise... and get it second time, you've less chance of fluffing it. apparently.
See, now, Jonesy, I don't know if you'll agree with me, but that kind of comment for me, if I was in the stands, I'd be like, bloody catch it, you know?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely. Yeah.
Because
just catch it.
But it's more of a continental way. Or like
Right,
you see
okay.
Schmeichel doing his Danish
Yeah.
catch. You ever seen
Yeah.
the Danish catch where they
Yeah.
grab it between the lower arm, doing like the tops of their arms, which I still try and without winding myself, but it's not always possible.
I was going to say that's quite a different technique to adopt as well, isn't it?
Very much so.
You
And
think
then
about
moving
it,
on-
they had each of them had their own technique, didn't they? Like a lot of keepers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who was the real Mavericks later on? You know, Fabian Barthez, who was just, if you want the epitome of madcap goalkeeper in the Premier League.
Our timeline stops there, Al. Sorry.
Edit that bit out.
We're not going beyond that.
No, 99, I'm afraid. Yeah.
Was it?
The Y2K bug, we don't go anywhere further on. Fabian Barthez arrived in 2000, didn't he? Or 2001.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Sorry, mate. This should be like the pull the lever, like Room 101.
Room 101, he's in.
I'll put a siren. Every time we mention 2000s, I'll put a siren.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah, because I've done a lot of research into, and Jonesy has as well. I mean, I've looked at, so I've got some stats here for you, Al, here. So I want to go through some of these. So you've mentioned a few top sort of goalkeepers there. Now, Jonesy, I'll come to you in a second, mate, because I know you probably have some as well. But I want to touch on, firstly, Neville Southall. Because I know, Jonesy, you've mentioned him a few times, obviously, from the connection to Wales and obviously the goalkeeper. So he was
completely missed Big Nev.
Wow.
He was a hero of mine.
Exactly.
I wore his shin pads. I'm gutted I forgot Big Nev.
No, don't be, because this is the whole point, mate, right? Because when I was going through the research for this episode, I was so excited, right? I'm looking for all of these. And there was a plethora of Premier League goalkeepers. I was like, oh my God, yes. And Shaka Hislop, another great goalkeeper.
I've got him down.
Wearer of the biggest goalkeeper shirts you've ever seen in your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, Jonesy, I'll come to you in a second, mate, with Shaka Hislop. But obviously, Neville Southall, right, was the last goalkeeper to be named in the Football Writers, to win the Football Writers Association Award. And that was back in 1985. Now, nobody has won that since Neville Southall. So firstly, I think that's incredible. Now, him as a goalkeeper, 750 appearances for Everton over an 18-year spell. Now, we talk about club loyalty. We talk about consistency. I think growing up, I only ever knew one goalkeeper for Everton, and that was Neville Southall. Am I right?
Yeah.
269 clean sheets. I mean, unreal.
His athleticism is unreal for a big guy.
Yeah.
I think I always think Neville Southall, Premier League, you always think of him an 80s goalkeeper first, but he went for those of you on something that's not visual. Actually, have you seen the footage of him wearing the pink version of the Campos shirt for Wales?
Yes.
He thought Kevin Pressman looked ill at ease in a turtleneck.
I've not seen that.
Big Nev in fluorescent. So there's footage of him for Wales wearing the pink reverse shirt of that green Campos one.
I could probably imagine what he's going to say when they ask him to put it on as well, right?
Honestly, you just like, because Big Nev was a no nonsense, socks down, shinnies out, dirty legs, who cares? Vaseline eyebrows, all in. And then he comes out in that, and you think, oh, poor bloke.
Yeah, oh dear.
Is that all we've got? Have we got any others? Have we got any more? No.
Wow.
Okay.
So
I met Big Nev, Colin Bay Football Club in 1995 after Everton won the FA Cup. He brought.
Oh wow!
Yeah, he gave me this little pin badge. You see?
Oh, cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and also Big Nev. We used to see him around, so I did know all the time. Just didn't bother him, too scared. But he actually saved my penalty in a charity penalty shootout. And you know what?
Ruining kids' memories.
He wouldn't let anyone score. He was on his knees, and
Good.
He could tell. He would not let anyone. No one scored in that penalty shootout.
Good.
He's just like on his knees. I know. Yeah. No. So he saved my penalty quite easily. I don't even think he made it. I don't even think he moved. He just like. But yeah, I love Big Nev. Big fan.
Yeah.
Even though he's Everton keeper, big fan.
Yeah. Good for love that, mate. Who have you got on your list, Jonesy?
Well, I got obviously being in Australia, got Mark Bosnich. What did you think of Mark Bosnich?
I mean, but he was kind of in the press in the 90s for the wrong reasons, wasn't he? As a goalkeeper, he was a bit of a maverick, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I would associate him more on his time at Villa than I would of Man United, but
I think Villa had a better time of it at Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Man U, it was it. I remember him in Man U wearing they've got a yellow shirt that's like almost like a corduroy texture.
Yeah.
I also remember was that the Taibbi era.
Oh, they went through a lot, didn't they? They tried to replace. Yeah, they had a conveyor belt of keepers, didn't they? Try to replace Schmeichel, and it was.
But Villa, very, very good. I just didn't think Man U got the best of him.
No, agree. What have you got on Bosnich then, James? Have you got any more info on him, or?
I just remember him taking over our mate Nigel Spink.
Oh, Nigel. Yeah, I mean.
When he became past tense, you mean?
Oh, yeah. Was past tense for Nigel Spink?
Depends where you are. Some depends whether they use the A or the U. Depends. The regional variations exist.
Right, for those sensitive listeners, we've gone with Nigel Spank as past tense when he retired. But good old Nigel Spink, we always remember him for Villa. Other goalkeepers I'm going to list here then. So you've mentioned David Seaman. You've got Nigel Martin. You've mentioned Schmeichel. You've got Tim Flowers. So I want to... Ian Walker, right. Ian Walker and Tim Flowers were the Premier League.
I know the fact.
Tell me.
What's the fact?
Shut me up. Tell me.
Did they play out get the Premier League's first ever clean sheets in their new draw?
Yes.
Between Southampton and Spurs.
Yep. Spot on. So
there you go.
Yeah, there we go. We should give Al a little segment there for Al's stat of the week.
You know what? I was thinking about doing a quiz, but that's all right. He's
just throw him in. Just throw him in whenever. We can have a go.
You mentioned obviously David James as well. I've got David James PlayStation addiction.
Oh,
yeah, remember his PlayStation addiction?
Yes.
No, I don't.
He was addicted to PlayStation. Yeah. Go on, Al.
Did he blame his lapses in concentration on being addicted to PlayStation?
What specifically though? What, Tekken or FIFA or Gran Turismo?
Was it Tomb Raider? I think it was Tomb Raider.
That's the
right.
Oh yeah, see that would have been massive back in the 90s as well, Tomb Raider, wasn't
it? He was nicknamed Calamity James by the media, wasn't he? He used to shit me in goal, tell you.
Yeah.
David James has pulled off some of the finest. There's a save he did for England. I think we were playing Turkey. And I was trying to find it, and there's a bullet glancing header comes across. And I've never seen a man throw himself to the top corner in the space of time that he did. I still wonder how he actually did this day. Seen him in real life, he's a beast of a man. Like
I can imagine.
But I wanted him. I've never wanted a keeper to be absolutely amazing for some reason more than I wanted David James. And he just like every now and again he'd just do something inexplicable, and he was he had all the tools to be like the greatest we've ever produced.
Yeah.
And they just didn't always get applied in the right particular order. But he did used to didn't he used to get, when they started wearing the distance monitors, he used to try and come top of the distance monitor and the kilometres run on the pitch by just going up and down his 18-yard box throughout the game. If you're watching me, he tried to outrun like all the outfielders by just trotting up and down his box. So there you go.
Again, though, because we can briefly touch on this, Al, in terms of the 90s kind of goalkeeper selection for England. I mean, do you think that was fairly justified in terms of selection, or do you think some goalkeepers deserved a bit more of a chance than others?
Well, starting in, I said touching on before, we held on to Shilton for too long.
Yeah.
Which Woods would have been his rightful successor at that time.
Yeah.
Kind of the very turn of the 90s, and then into like the Premier League era. And then I think after that, what were we on? Martin, Flowers,
Seaman,
Seaman, Walker.
Walker,
Yeah.
Nobody kind of grabbed it and stood out for any particular length of time.
I mean, Tim Flowers had 11 caps for England, and that was it. 11.
Is that right?
Premier League winner.
Wow.
Yeah.
Probably no more for that divot launching it over his shoulder when he pulled his long barrier out.
Yeah. See, I mean, as a goalkeeper, is that an absolute cringe moment for you there, Al? I mean, can that happen?
Well, because when I first ever learned to be a keeper, my dad told me to put a line in the middle of your 6-yard line so that you know where, when you're gauging, if you're going out towards the corner of your box, you know where like the middle of the goal is, so you can always bounce down and see.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, I'm not sure if it rolled over a divot that he'd made himself. Something like it might have even been self-inflicted. I might be thinking something completely off tangent, but it is like it's hard enough. And if you get a bobble or a skid like the one that Sanchez had last night, if anyone was watching the Spurs Chelsea game, that if you get one that just zips off the ground and doesn't bounce how you think it's going to bounce, or you can look at Wally really easily. And sadly, usually the only thing that's behind you is the goal. So it generally leads to consequences, be it a stray beach ball or whatever it may be. Yeah.
Yes. I can remember though that goal against, it was Liverpool, wasn't it? Blackburn, Liverpool.
Stan Collymore, wasn't
it?
Yeah. So that was just used all the time in like own goals and gaffes, like Danny Baker videos and all of the sort of chat shows. I feel very sorry
for him. A bit early for it, but that's just a freak occurrence that.
Yeah.
Infuriating.
I mean, right. Jonesy, have you got any more?
A lot of good ones. We had a lot of good ones. You can't say naming them all, but there were a lot of quality keepers, but maybe all of a kind of similar level.
Well, okay, so here's a question for you then. Do you think we held on to Dave Seaman for too long?
My opinion, yes, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, who would you have replaced him with?
Solid, but not brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, he was outstanding in Euro 96, though, right?
He was. He was.
And then obviously, right, bring that to the screen, Al, for me. Can you?
Come on.
Yeah. Come on,
mate.
Watching in black and white. This is.
Bring forward Big Dave.
Big Dave. Big Dave.
Safe hands.
And his reworked Umbro diamond.
So Al is holding up the England Euro 96 goalkeeper top, and I can vividly remember David Seaman's celebration from saving the penalty against Spain in that kit, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful top.
The red one had more of an England type writing on it, didn't it?
Would you say, Al, the red one or the yellow one's more sought after from a collector's point of view?
I'd say that one's more iconic.
Yeah.
Because of
I think that one's more.
Because of what?
Yeah, I'd go with the Euro 96 one. Yeah.
Because the red one's associated to the kind of Germany game, really? Do you think?
Yeah. Even though I still want it.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Still have it.
Okay. Right. What have you got, Jonesy?
Just a template, like the one behind you. Remember?
Yeah.
This is our good friend Craig Forrest, right?
I've got that upstairs, but I only brought one of them down. That was worn by there'll be a Van der Sar version at Ajax.
Oh
yes. There's a
yes, I've
because he had won the European trophy in that one, wouldn't they? A young Van der Sar.
That's your Craig Forrest for your Craig Forrest.
That's it.
Dimitri Karine.
Mark Crossley.
Dimitri Karine had a closet, like an unbelievable range of, like he wore ones that other ones didn't wear, of the slightly other different design of this this style that exists. There's another slightly different design, and he seemed to wear them, whereas other people stuck with this one. There was a black based one, and I think a red one, but he seemed to get access to certain other designs that other people didn't. But that was a staple of quite a few.
Yeah, that's beautiful, that template.
Yeah.
Jonesy, what else have you got, mate?
Who else is on my list? Probably the most handsome goalkeeper of all time, Steve Sivagrich.
Steve Grizovic.
I was trying to think who you were on about then, and I was thinking like you're actually being quite complimentary. The poor boy. Yeah. Do you know what?
Yeah.
You don't like it, though, do you, Woody?
No. And yeah.
The only thing I remember him for.
Yeah. Go on, tell everyone why.
I believe he's the first person I remember ever seeing scoring from a kick out of his hands against another team. And ironically, he was known for having quite a weak kick.
Yeah.
But it was one hell of a breeze.
Yeah.
And it was in the other goal. Was it Martin Hodge?
Yes, I think it would have been. I think so.
Speaking of loyal servants.
Yeah.
Incredible. And you could see the breeze got it. And he was between coming for it and going back and waiting for it. And sadly,
it's that horrible judging bit, isn't it, on the 18 yards?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Horrible.
But that's the first time I ever remember seeing a keeper score. Ever.
Steve Grizovic then, Jonesy. Come on, tell us about Bent Nose.
He's one of those ones you kept getting the stickers off in the Premier League '95 and you just laugh.
Yeah.
It's like, here we go again.
Yeah.
He just looked about 60, didn't he? Like,
I've said this before, right? And we are going to do a Merlin sticker kind of episode, right?
Yeah,
you look at stickers in the early 90s. Al, did you collect stickers?
I did.
Like Premier League, yeah?
Yeah.
So if you look at kind of the standard photos of the early 90s and compare them to kind of how players look now, I kind of think, how on earth did you play 90 minutes? Like, because there's just complete chalk and cheese, isn't there?
Yeah, they've had a glow up since then.
Massively, crikey! But again, you mentioned about Neville Southall with his kind of heavy stature, like really stocky. But to me, growing up, I thought that's how goalkeepers should have looked. They were the last line of defence, weren't they?
Guys, yeah.
Yeah.
Big hands, big menacing face.
Yeah.
Steve Grizovic.
Yeah, and looking like they've put their face in the way of danger many times.
Exactly. Who else have you got, Jonesy? You must have a list.
Yeah, I got Casey Keller.
Oh,
You've got him? Yeah.
No, I don't have Casey Keller.
One of the first American keepers. I've got Hans Sagers.
Like, he was Wimbledon, right, Hans Sagers?
Yeah,
he was.
Because he used to have. Did he wear Sondico or did he wear Rouge? Because I remember he used to like sponsor a gloves, and I remember my brother buying the gloves, and they were Hans Sager on the front, I think. What brand were you, Al?
Oh, so I was I loved Ulsport.
Yeah.
Then that era came, so like the Italian 91s, I had the Walter Zenga ones after that they brought out. And then Premier League year, I went for the Sondico I had a few of the double finger logo.
Yeah.
Sondicos. Andy Gorham. I had some Gore-Tex gloves. I had some Andy Gorham. I think they were Gore-Tex. Like they had a lining in them. Like you couldn't feel a thing.
Yeah.
Like, but you could literally stick them in like a bath of cold water, and like your hands didn't get cold. They were amazing. They were $54.99, which in the mid-90s would have been extortionate.
Yeah.
But man, your hands just didn't get cold because there were no water ingress.
There you go. Is that them there?
I don't know. It's Andy Gorham.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
they had some pink, yellow, and white, purpley, yellow, and white ones as well. They had all sorts of things like the Simon Tracy solar ones that had like the red and black spots in the palm because somebody thought if you had a palm like octopus suckers that doesn't work. Like these innovations of they had these like enduring palms that were basically like made out of sandpaper. They were awful. The latex was disgraceful. I think they'd last through anything. Look at that. I had that shirt.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Neville Southall. He's smiling.
That's not Neville Southall there, is it?
I guess because he's smiling, you can't recognise him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I've got a Sondico. There you go. Chris Goods.
Yeah. From Chris Wood's Premier. Chris Woods always seems to have quite small hands for a goalkeeper. His gloves were always quite slim.
Nigel.
That's the England goalkeeper top, isn't it? Or a template
it's a Sondico version of it.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks like the old Italian 91.
They had a very traditional, for that time, playing version of it. Yes.
So, Al, did gloves really make a difference back in the 90s, or were they all just a bit kind of hearsay? Like, did all of that kind of like sticky spots, sandpaper, finger saves, all of these ones, did it make any difference?
I think just good latex palm will always win the day. I wore all sport. I moved on to Sondico. I always wanted to wear ruche, though. I always really wanted a pair.
Yeah.
The World Cup 90s. Like always a favourite, but then as they moved on, and obviously the big logo on across the knuckles, like I wanted them, but I never seen they were never seen to be as prevalent in the UK as buying a pair of All Sport or Sondico. So you saw somebody like Hans van Breukelen wearing them, or someone like that, and think, or Bodo Ilgner or Kopke, somebody like that wearing them. And they were just they just looked really good. But yet I got into the Sondico. So my last ever, towards the end of like younger teenage career, would have been Sondico. But obviously these guys, it was all like the logos were bigger. It was all about when I did the double finger logo. But I think if you could spend money, and it was all about the palm. You could get a 20 quid version, or you could get your 40 quid version, and you could tell the difference. But then when you're playing on some sandy pitch, up a Batley somewhere on a howling Saturday afternoon with a mitre multiplex ball, didn't always make that much of a difference.
No.
I think the gloves were the last of your concerns. So.
Wow, try telling that to Thomas Ravelli in USA 94 as well, right? Wasn't he the Swedish goalkeeper that used to spin it round his midriff? Didn't he throw it in the net?
Oh yeah, but again, if you notice on that All Sport did something big with the logo where they had to make it smaller for USA 94, and Ravelli's, you'll see the U. They actually made what was the All Sport U. They then made the inside of the U into the U, if that makes sense.
Yes.
They, like, shrank it right down.
Yeah.
I remember about Thomas Ravelli's gloves in USA 94. Being an All Sport fan of the time. Clearly.
Yeah, absolutely. Jonesy.
Going back to it, almost obviously played in the. How do you reckon the back pass rule affected 92?
Oh, it was chaos.
Yeah.
Oh,
pressure.
Oh, it was several times when you used to you were shouted at because you looked like you were going down to pick it up, and somebody would go, "No, up!" And you, horrible.
Pretty changed the game, didn't it?
Completely.
Well, you weren't trained to be a player though at that point, were you?
Not at all. So it led to sometimes utter blind panic.
Wow. Yeah, Jonesy, I completely forgot about that, mate.
Out, get it out.
Yeah. Exactly.
Back pass rule.
What about Andy Dibble?
Oh, forever be known. Good goalkeeper, ironically, but once again, will be forever be known for Gary Crosby nutting it out of his right palm, and in you go.
Yeah. See,
ironically, he was a very good goalie.
I mean, he was a journeyman. I'll give him that. I mean, 3 caps for Wales. Jonesy, do you remember him in the sticks?
I do not. I remember him for. I don't remember him for. Yeah, I probably couldn't get the coverage. We spoke about that on a previous one.
Good old coat hanger.
Yeah. But I remember him for Man City.
Well, Andy Dibble was at Man City from 1988 to 97. He had loan appearances in the middle. Yeah. Now he went to Middlesbrough on loan in 1998 and made 2 appearances for Middlesbrough. But within those 2 appearances, he conceded 11 goals.
Ah, goodness. Not his finest hour.
And then he went back to Man City. He's currently a goalkeeper coach at Accrington Stanley.
Okay.
Good old Andy Dibble.
Still in the game.
Is he a Barnsley boy? Is he from that era, or did he play at Barnsley? I'll try to look at his stats.
Yeah, they had a man called Dave Watson who played for quite a while.
Dave Watson, yeah.
Barnsley, who ended up becoming an England goalkeeping coach in latter years.
So you had obviously Schmeichel to look up to, didn't you? But did you have any kind of local goalkeepers like Huddersfield and stuff that you kind of aspired to? Or
we got, and I still in the flesh, the best goalkeeper I've seen play at Huddersfield. We got Steve Harper on loan from Newcastle, who was basically a clone of Shea Given.
Yeah.
They were the same height.
Yeah.
They had the same goalkeeping mannerisms. You could just tell they trained together. And it was in that phase when we'd got a few quid. I think we had the guy that had Pace satellite dishes owned us at the time. Anyway, we got him in, and you could just see like, man, he was good. But he was another one that if he wasn't playing with Shea Given, I assume would have got oodles more appearances for Newcastle.
Yeah,
he was just a really good goalie, and you could nobody wanted him to leave. You just knew he was too good for your team, but it was just a pleasure to witness him being there.
He'll only be here for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but enjoy it while he is, because man, I still it makes me smile just thinking about watching him.
What a great shout! Yeah,
it was just quality, and he was Shea Given and Steve Harper are the same height as me, which is why I always fanboy over them a little bit.
Yeah,
it could be me. It could have been it could be me.
Yeah.
That's me. Like, I could have done that because
Yeah.
I'm the same. I'm not 5 inches short. You know, look at David James and you think, Jesus, he's big. But they were the same stature as me, and it was always one of those things I could see like to the centimetre. I was so like, yeah. I really identified him because Shea Given always looked quite short when you saw him play.
He did. Yeah, he did.
And I realised, well, he's not that short, mate. He's like the same height as me. But then when you see him stood next to a David James or a Van der Sar or somebody that ilk,
giant,
he's quite short.
Yeah.
But it was good.
I love that. That's a cracking memory, mate. Jonesy, have you got any more, mate, or should we go on to Al Shaw's wardrobe?
I reckon we go and have a peek inside the wardrobe, mate.
Right, come on, Al. We've been looking forward to this for all week. Okay. So, what have you got?
So, I'll go on my little homage to the Great Dane. We got another.
Collective groan from me and Jonesy at the same time.
But also seem to remember with like Raymond van der Houw vibes.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
Do you know what that reminds me of? That shirt is that 2-footed tackle Ian Wright did on Schmeichel at Highbury during the Arsenal Man United era, and I think he would have been wearing that one because I remember like they were always at each other, weren't they, Schmeichel and Ian Wright?
Yeah. So
what a beautiful shirt though, that one.
And it's apropos of nothing, but as I completely fanboy over the grade, it's nothing to do with the Premier League, but can I just whiz that in?
I think you can, Al.
Yes.
You know, just for a few seconds.
Sorry, but then led to moving on that. So from the that one, I then got that one, another one. Sorry, so that's my end of my Michael Loving. So
what's that? What year's that though, Al? That's the chevrons of the Hummel, isn't it?
So that was the Euro 92 version, the first one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
This is then after that.
Yeah.
So
what is it? Is that lightning or something?
It does, yeah.
It is. Anyway, I know it's not Premier League, but he did play.
No, I love it.
No,
He's a Premier League goalkeeper, mate. That's good enough.
This episode's renamed Peter Schmeichel episode. I've got have you got this one? This is what I think of.
So do you know what?
So it's the home shirt from 94, 95. Listeners.
I had the original when I was a young man, and that's I used to train. I used to train in that when I played for school. Like, why didn't you keep these things? I used to train, and I had the shorts as well. And that's another one. Umbro of this time.
Yeah.
That one. You stare at it long enough, it will click. It's horrific. Jones, you don't let it touch anything. Don't touch any sharp edges with it.
Look how beat up it is. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty.
But it's just work of art. But yeah,
it's a goalie shirt. But if a goalie shirt didn't have sharp edges and triangles printed on it, I didn't want to see it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they've all got geometric shapes on there somewhere, haven't they?
I've got a few generics just because they were on, but going back to David James. David James had the kind of sort of Bodyworks one.
Yeah. That's USA 94 as well, right? That one?
Yeah, that would have been in there.
Got that one.
So this is the one officially.
Oh, there we go.
There
you go. Oh, you've got two different colours though.
Are they?
Is that right? Or the same?
I'm more orange.
You almost, yeah. Jeez, I'm getting tangled.
So this is the one that's officially known as the Predator. So this model is officially known as the Predator.
Yeah.
You had the Typhon, which was the one that you would have seen like Ilgner wearing in Italia 90 with a twist. That was the Typhon. We never got that. I don't think we ever had. I've got how many colours? I've got 3 or 4 colours of it upstairs. Yeah. So that one got that one upstairs. I got the blue one with the green, and there's a blue, like a silvery purple one.
Yeah.
Well,
that was beautiful, the purple one.
David James was a wearer of both those two. He had some cracking shirts with Liverpool, I have to say. With that.
I was always a fan of the Liverpool and the Arsenal ones that were just black with the 3 white stripes by the ribs. I thought they were beautiful.
Really nice. In an era of craziness when somebody went and stripped it back down to just
so I mean,
away. It can always help.
Yeah. Bit of a detox.
I never wear these because I'm contractually not allowed to wear this. But
what have we got?
I have to admire it. It's a Leeds United shirt.
Look!
Wow. A bit of
John Lukic.
Which once again I think you may have seen Mervyn Day at the back end. John Lukic might have appeared in it.
That is sensational. That one.
Yeah, Admiral.
They would have won the Division 1 in that, wouldn't they?
Yeah. I like Leeds United. So did they aren't? So they would have. Yeah, because they were the last first division before the Premier League, weren't they?
Yeah.
Because they went up from. Did they go up? Was this the 92-93 one?
Well, they had a promotion, didn't they? And then they won the league after that, didn't they?
They were promoted in Umbro.
Yeah.
I think they won the league in Umbro. And I think, when was the Premier League? The Premier League was 92-93 onwards, wasn't it?
92-93,
This was their first Premier League shirt, I think.
That's a cracker.
Give me a little bit more of a close-up on that one, Al, because that is a glorious shirt. Look at that. It's almost got like green and blue scratches underneath the kind of lightning bolt in the middle, hasn't it?
On the back, that's just what it's almost like some sort of.
I think that's the nicest one I've seen in this episode. I'm just going to say that, Jonesy. I know it's Leeds. I shouldn't say that, but
your heart rating, it might be in your heartbeat measurement when you look at
it. Yeah.
And just for the listeners as well, we will be sharing these images out as well, so you can see.
Good shout, mate. Good shout.
I didn't go because I obviously got other colours of certain things, but I've just brought down, the one of the various models. This is my most recent acquisition, and I've been after this for ages. And I'm very, very, very proud that I now own it because it's something I really wanted to do. And there's another version I now also want to get, but
yes,
the tune.
The Newcastle skyline.
That's their best one.
Premier League's got the massive badge, Newquay Brown,
sunset,
Tyne Bridge, all the sky, the cityscape skyline.
That is beautiful.
Cheeky three stripes down the arm.
Beautiful, yeah.
But I wouldn't mind getting the Rangers version. I
was going to say the Rangers version is
thrown together,
well.
but I don't know of any more that had one that had a random.
I think it was
city skyline,
wasn't it? Yeah, that's why I only remember the shirts. Yeah,
but I only got this recently, and it's funny as you go along through the 90s, you get this. So this has some sort of quilted padding. You start seeing the phasing out somewhere of the massive padding. So like the earlier 90s ones, like the Hamden, they had the proper pads, and then by the time you get to like this one, they more became we said before about being big.
Yeah.
About being
Jesus,
more
well, look at that.
Well,
but more functional in terms of being able to move. So
gentlemen, now we're on that subject. You've touched on the pads and you've touched on the kind of the heavy nature of the kit. I'm going to show you this one, which is the Sheffield Wednesday 99 goalkeeper kit, short sleeve, right? This is a shirt. It just looks like, it feels like an outfield shirt. Now, so tell me, Al, as a goalkeeper, and Jonesy, I want your opinion on this as well, mate. When goalkeeper shirts evolved from that heavy, cumbersome, but well padded, because the goalkeepers now, in my opinion, have become more acrobatic in terms of the saves they're doing. They're more agile, more nimble, quicker. Has that made a difference in terms of performance? But in terms of protection, surely it's more of a hindrance, right?
I think fewer people seem to care about. You see, who started wearing short sleeves that have, Joe Hart was probably one of the first I remember Fabian Barthez clearly.
Barthez,
Barthez.
Moving on to seeing them later on. I don't remember many goalkeepers of 90s ilk wearing short sleeves, and certainly not many designed specifically for short sleeves. I personally have always liked a sleeve covering. I'm not a fan of short sleeves and base layers. I still like a lot, hashtag save long sleeves and all that.
Absolutely.
Keeper shirts should have long sleeves. Call me a traditionalist.
I think
that.
Georgie Campos
now
must have been.
They are, lots of goalkeepers now are more converted outfielders who are trained up. So I'm not sure if they might feel more comfortable just thinking they feel more like an outfield player. They can have more freedom.
I don't like that.
No.
I don't like the fact they're taught to be players. I don't like the pressure it puts on a keeper, passing it back and getting them to pass it across the back line. I'm always that traditional, like you said earlier, mate, of if in doubt, put it out, clear it, get your line clear,
But it's funny, you used to see Schmeichel. I used to have always kind of tuck my gloves, my sleeves into my gloves. But I remember Schmeichel was always one where you'd see his ruche gloves, the old big S on. He'd pull his cuffs kind of over his gloves.
Yeah.
And I never got on board with that. I always wanted a seal. I needed a seal. And obviously, when you're wearing something that's the size of a parachute anyway, there's plenty of room.
You want it to be airtight.
I wanted to seal up the wrists to not get a draft in. Because if then it would come out and it rolled up a bit, it was like, no. So I would always say, sleeves in, gloves on. I used to hang on, like, you put your gloves in like that and then try and get your fingers up just as you let go. So that's an art. There's an art to it.
There is. Jonesy, what do you think, mate?
Some cracking shirts there. Like, I miss 90s goalkeeper shirts. I tell you what, I can't even tell you a shirt these days of a modern Premier League side. I don't take any notice. I will just stay in my 90s bubble for keeper shirts.
Do you collect shirts now?
Killed me recently.
Go on.
When you saw the team picture of that stunning Ajax.
Here we go.
All you had to do was give the keeper a plain green top. All you had to do, just plain green top. But they had the current template, but put the old throwback logo on it.
Like,
in amongst the madness of like, what? But just don't bother. Like, if you're gonna do it, do it. If not, but that angered me because I thought you've just left him out to dry there, guys. Like, keepers' lives matter, and that was a poor show. Also, randomly, I always have a really irrational dislike of when it's nothing to do with it. But when Man United played Man City and it was the Munich tribute game, and Man United wore the proper throwback kit, and Man City just took the sponsor off. It just didn't sit well. It didn't sit well. But I'm a traditional man. I like a traditional, approach to things. And goalkeepers should always be included when you think about it. Going from the now the individualness of this to now having the same template literally for every Adidas team, for example, that you see. I think we've lost our way a little bit.
Well, they were individualised, weren't they?
Go back to it. Look, I've got a Munich one with, he's got his signature on it.
Got that upstairs with the cat. Absolutely. Like, I've got the Man signature on it.
Yeah.
We need
There you go.
individuality, and
Absolutely.
it's
That's
a
what
bit
we're
death
missing.
by template for goalies because even when you put the codes in, it'll bring up the template rather than the team shirt.
Yeah.
And it's
It's all right.
We need to be back. We need to be
go
back to this, back to all this, all of it.
So, Al, okay, we're coming to the end of this podcast, mate, and I think that has been an absolutely glorious kind of selection of shirts you've shown us there. If you were to take something from the 90s into today's game for the goalkeepers, what would you do? What would you take?
Hairstyles?
A Grizovic, absolutely. Would you have a Kareen or an Grizovic, Jonesy, while Al thinks?
What, in goal
You
these days?
I'd have the ability or the necessity to wear more tracksuit bottoms whilst playing in goal.
Would you?
Yeah.
You
Love
take
love a tracksuit bottom keeper. Dimitri Kareen being a particular exponent of that ilk, of that time.
Does that help you more wearing trousers or because of your cold?
I used to love it, like padded knees and padded like hip trousers. Yeah. Big.
I used to wear
That might
jogging
give you an
bottoms,
indication
yeah.
as to the quality of pitch I was playing on. But yeah.
I think
trouser.
I love that because I don't think I mean, you see goalkeepers wearing leggings now, don't you? And then the under sort of armour and stuff like that. And I just think, put on a pair of trousers, mate, if that's the problem.
It's fine.
Yeah. Come on, get on with it. You're absolutely right there, mate. I think there is where you said there's an individual element that's gone missing. And Jonesy, you alluded to that with the Oliver Kahn kind of template goalkeeper as well. There isn't like where we say that a goalkeeper's the last line of defence, there's the Goalkeepers Union and stuff like that. And I mean, there isn't that kind of kit or goalkeeper now that kind of stands out like the Schmeichels, the Dave Seamans and stuff, because for aspiring goalkeepers, there's the kind of acrobatic kind of De Gea and David Raya and Anana and Allison, all those goalkeepers. Al, your lad's in academy football now, isn't he?
About to start next season, yeah.
There you go. So is he aspiring to those sort of keepers, or is he kind of going back in the archives with you, looking at 90s goalkeepers? How's it going?
I was going to say, he's going to put a YouTube compilation of Schmeichel on.
Yeah.
I mean, so this is where FIFA, the game, has got a lot to answer for in a very good way, because never would I think I'd have a discussion with my 8-year-old son as to the goalkeeping qualities that Lev Yashin brought to the table.
Yeah.
But he asks because he sees these kids, these people, like the legends.
Yeah.
I don't understand none of it. But
the icon packs.
They'll talk to me about Donnarumma was playing for PSG.
Yeah.
And he was playing against Liverpool because he likes Liverpool. Don't hold it against him. It's his mum's fault.
Good lad.
But he went. I bet he's not as good as Buffon though, is he, Dad?
Oh my word!
He's nowhere near as good as. But like, I was doing it inside. You were kind of like,
yes,
because I've shown videos of great keepers of like Southall, Schmeichel. Of my heroes, I want to show you of my heroes, but then he sees today, like he quite rightly thinks Alisson Becker's unbelievable. He's his goalkeeper here. He appreciates the talents of Jan Oblak, which is quite interesting.
He's quite a traditional keeper, though.
He knows a good keeper when he sees one, and
that's healthy.
With the academy keepers that they seem obsessed with, almost as important is what for me, you're keeping the ball out the goal is prime objective number one. But they're so centered on footwork and being another player, particularly in smaller scale football. It's almost like, Edison, for example, isn't the world's greatest goalkeeper for me by a long chalk.
Yeah.
Clearly his footwork is unbelievable, and when he's playing behind an unbelievable back four, he's all right. Mm-hmm. This year, I think he's been shown up a bit for kind of his deficiencies. Yeah. For me, the job of a keeper is still to keep the ball at the back of the net using these or your feet or whatever. Bravery
as well.
Yes.
Bravery.
You can't teach bravery.
No.
You've either got it or you haven't.
Yeah.
And I used to, I'm trying to teach him now about sliding out at people's feet.
Yeah.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
And it takes some bottle to do it. But
Yeah.
I love, the Jim Leighton with his front teeth out, Vass on his eyebrows,
the boxing grease.
big Nev with his shin pads down, so socks down.
Yeah.
Pete Schmeichel having screaming matches with Steve Bruce.
Yeah.
These guys. This is what goalkeepers need to be. They need to be the focal point of the team. And I almost think we need to take back what's important about keeping.
Yeah.
It's about keeping the ball out of the goal.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. Perfectly put. Thank you, mate. Jonesy, is there anything else you would like to add, mate, to that?
No, this has been brilliant, this episode.
I've loved
Thank you
this
so much.
Me too, guys. Thank you.
We just all love talking 90s, don't we? That's it.
Yeah, I mean,
hours and hours.
That's what we do it for, isn't it? So, yeah, Al, thank you so much, mate, for this. This has been absolutely awesome getting you on, mate. And if
you're just going to knock out my references to Fabian Barthez like it never happened, yeah?
No, we're going to keep it in because we're keeping to a strict timeline. We want to be stern but fair in this podcast. Al, for the listeners and the watchers on YouTube, I want to find you on your Instagram and your wonderful collection that you've shown us today. Where can they find you, mate?
Find me at al.shaw.shirts, and I will be posting again soon. I've been very lazy. Too busy buying shirts.
You've been busy, yeah.
Other people have pointed out I should buy. So I'm going to do a separate reel, I think, of things on Vinted the lads made me buy. So watch out soon. Really
brilliant.
Really
but we can see your collection of all of your goalkeeper shirts that you've shown us today on your page, right?
They'll be there throughout time. There'll be a smattering of keeper shirts and with the other stuff.
Good man. Jonesy, what about you, my friend?
I'm at football.jonesy. That's where you'll find me.
And you will find me at Woody W1988. But also you'll be able to see Jonesy's beautiful art that he creates for this show on that 90s Premier League podcast on all available channels, which are YouTube, Spotify, anything else, Jonesy? Amazon, Apple.
Yeah, iHeartRadio. I put us everywhere. And I just want to say thank you for everyone who's listened and sent us messages as well. Like, we've had a lot of good feedback.
Yeah.
Also, we are 40th in the Irish charts.
Way.
So I put this down to your John Sheridan chat the other week.
Right.
Where we talked about Roy Keane and everything. So we're doing well. So thank you so much. So we're loved in Ireland.
Wicked.
There we go. So, yeah, really appreciate all the love and support we're getting.
Absolutely.
We'll continue to smash out these podcasts, won't we, mate?
Yeah, we really enjoy it. And
big shout out to Pat Bonner and Alan Kelly, two fine exponents of 90s goalkeeper shirts.
We'll be 38 now. Cheers, Al.
No worries.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much. That's been episode 6. Al, you've been unbelievable. So thanks ever so much again, mate, for coming on. Really enjoyed having you.
Lovely to be here.
Thanks again for listening. Do obviously drop us a follow on Instagram. And please, if you've got time, watch us on YouTube, because all of the shirts, all of the graphics and edits are available on YouTube to watch, and on Spotify, of course. So, yeah, thank you ever so much. Jonesy, see us out, mate.
Thanks, guys. And we'll see you on the next one, won't we?
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.